Hello, I'm Anna. Today I will read you the story of Prince who turned into a tulip. Once upon a time, there was a king who had a young son. One day, the young prince said to his father, "Father, I am leaving the palace now. I won't return until I find the most beautiful girl in the world." "Go, my dear son," the king replied. "May your journey be safe." The prince set off on his journey. After some time, he came to a forest where no human had ever set foot. In the thick bushes of the forest, he found a crow trapped among the branches. The poor bird was trying to free itself, but the more it struggled, the more tangled it became. The prince felt sorry for the crow and helped it escape. The crow was overjoyed. "Take one of my feathers and keep it. If you ever need my help, throw it into the air, and I will come to your aid no matter where you are," the crow said. The prince put the feather in his bag and continued on his way. After a while, he reached the edge of a tiny, almost dried-up lake. In the middle of the lake, in a small puddle of water, a fish was struggling to survive. The prince took pity on the fish. He picked it up and placed it in a nearby river. The fish spoke to him. "You saved me from dying. I will help you if you ever need. Take one of my scales and keep it safe. When you need, throw it into the air, and I will come to you instantly." The prince continued on his journey. This time, he came across an old man who was tired, hungry, and thirsty. The prince gave him some bread and water. After eating and drinking, the old man said, "My boy, you saved me. I will also help you if you are ever in need. Take one of my white hairs and throw it into the wind if you need. I will come to you immediately." After 3 days of traveling, the prince arrived in a kingdom where an old king ruled. The king had a daughter who was the most beautiful girl in the world. Many young men wanted to marry her, but there was a rule: they had to hide in a place where the princess couldn't find them 3 times. If the princess found them all 3 times, they would face harsh punishments. So far, the princess had always found everyone who tried. The prince decided to give it a try. He went to the princess and told her he wanted to marry her. The princess told him to hide, and she would start looking for him shortly. On the first day, the prince threw the crow's feather into the air. The crow appeared, but it wasn't alone, it came with thousands of other crows. They picked up the prince and carried him far, far away. But the princess still found him, even in that faraway place. She laughed, saying he had hidden in such an easy spot. The next day, the prince threw the fish's scale into the air. A giant fish appeared, swallowed the prince, and hid him in its belly. But the princess, holding a net, found the fish and the prince inside its belly. Again, she laughed at how easy it was. On the 3rd day, the prince threw the old man's white hair into the wind. The old man appeared immediately. With a single touch, he turned the prince into a red tulip and placed the flower on his hat. The princess searched every corner and every place she could think of until evening. But she couldn't find him anywhere. At last, she admitted defeat and announced that she would marry the prince. The old man came to the princess and handed her the tulip. When the princess kissed the tulip, it turned back into the handsome prince. "You are mine, and I am yours," the prince said. A grand wedding celebration was held. Not only the prince and princess, but the entire kingdom was filled with joy. And so, the young prince was rewarded for his kindness and goodness. Thank you for listening.